Hi friends, Mindy here. Welcome back to my channel. I have a Bible journaling process for you today. I'm working in my Journaling Psalter, which is basically just the book of Psalms, and every other page is blank. And so it's lightly lined, so you could take notes if you wanted to. I'm obviously going to be doing some art in here. This is one of my favorite processes to do for a quick background. And so what I have done is I have some distress crayons and a baby wipe, and I'm just scribbling the crayon onto the baby wipe in different sections, and I'm adding a little bit of color. So I have mustard seed and scattered straw. I have worn lipstick. I'll add a little bit of fired brick. The purple at the top is villainous potion, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of faded jeans as well because it's kind of a purpley blue sometimes. I'm trying to go for like a sunset kind of sky here, and I will say this is one of my favorite techniques to do in a Bible, to just lay down some quick background. But in this Psalter, this is not the best paper for this process. And so I will just kind of throw out that warning. At least for me, this is not the best. I usually get a better blending in everything in a Bible that has a little bit more coating to the paper. And so this is why I'm always very hesitant to tell people like what will work in your Bible or what won't work in your Bible. Just test your things in your Bible, because I was not expecting the paper to kind of start pilling up, but it was a little bit. So I'm having to be very careful with how much I'm rubbing on there. And so it makes the blending a little bit harder. I'm going to be able to, work with it, but it just had a different effect than I was expecting, because like I said, usually when I do this, I'm working in a journaling Bible, but, I'm just going in, adding some more color, just trying to get everything kind of the way that I want it in terms of the color. But I will say again, this is why it's so important to test your stuff in your Bible, because every Bible is different. Every Bible paper is different. Your technique might be different. This might not do this for you. If it's just test it in the back of your Bible. That's like really the best advice I have. So again, you can see I'm just trying to add some sketchy little color in here, trying to intensify the color just a little bit, because like I said, I want this to look like a sunset. So I'm just going back and forth between the yellows and the pinks right now, especially because I am really enjoying the kind of there's a certain orangey color that's happening with the scattered straw and the fired brick that I'm really enjoying. And then I dried that really well, and I want to intensify these colors just a little bit, but I can't go back in with a baby wipe. Ordinarily, that's what I would do if I was working in a different Bible. Because that paper is coated, so it can kind of take it, but this is just not going to work that way. So I'm scribbling those same crayons onto an acrylic block and adding some water, and I'm just going to use them like watercolor to kind of drop in some more intense color. I could have done this from the beginning, but I was really trying to just do it really the quick way with with the baby wipe, and then I just realized as I was working on it that really was not going to work the way that I had anticipated. So again, you can see me just adding those same colors right to that block, and then I'm just going to pick them up and just drop those colors in and try to get them just a little bit more blendy so they're not quite so streaky. But again, I am trying to keep this looking like a sky, so I'm okay. I don't want a full solid blend. I want all of those sunsetty type colors happening in the background. So that's what I'm using. Again, going in with some more scattered straw there and just trying to blend that out as much as I can. And this was just really a day where the Lord had done something very specific for me, and this verse came to mind. So I'm working in Psalm 8, and Psalm 8:2, or Psalm 8:3 and 4 says, "When I look at your heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars which you have set in place, what is man that you are mindful of him, and the son of man that you care for him?" That's from the ESV. And so this is just a day where I really wanted to respond to that in my Bible. And so this verse came to mind, and so that's what I'm doing. Now, what you see me doing on camera is I have pulled out the Texture Tiles 3 stamp set, Texture Tiles 13, from Creative Worship Stamps. And I stamped that in some Distress Oxide colors of saltwater taffy, faded jeans, and antique linen. And I just kind of did that randomly just to give a little bit of background texture. I don't know how well that's actually picking up on the camera, but that's what I did for the background. And now I'm coming in with the Thoughtful Wreaths stamp set. And I'm taking that beautiful wreath, and I'm just going to create a border all the way around this page. I'm using VersaFine ink for this, and so this is going to bleed through. I'm not particularly worried about it. I've mentioned this in the past. These journaling Bibles are not the Bibles that I study from. I study from King James, and so it's going to be fine. You can still even read it because it's every other page. So I can actually still read the other side, but it does bleed through a little bit, which again is fine because it's really just the border. So it actually kind of outlines the next psalm. I don't think they show that on camera, but it does kind of work that way. Now I'm just getting up next to the gutter of the Bible. And so I'm going to move on to adding some extra little sprigs. So this is still the same Thoughtful Wreaths stamp set. I'm just pulling out some of those other pieces to kind of extend it into the space a little bit more and fill in so it doesn't just look like half moons of the wreaths around. I really want it to just look like a lot of foliage. And so, but again, this was a day where I had been really praying about something for a couple of weeks, and I was feeling very honestly, I was feeling discouraged. And it was a day where, like I said, I had been praying about something for a couple weeks, and I was just feeling discouraged about it. And this was the day that the Lord answered this prayer for me. And I was literally sitting at my art desk when the Lord answered this prayer. And this is the verse that came to me. It was so humbling. And so I was just so appreciative that the Lord would answer this little prayer of mine that I really probably was blowing out of proportion anyway. But it was just one of those times where you just really know that the Lord, he just sees you and he just gives you a little God wink kind of moment. And that was what this was for me. And it was really important to me to document that. And so that's what I'm doing here. The little birds that you saw me stamp down, those are from the Sitting Pretty stamp set. These are all part of the July release from Creative Worship Stamps. I will put my affiliate link down in the description if you're interested in grabbing any of those. And then I did just think I needed to add just a little bit of white just to kind of have a little bit of contrast. I always think that helps, but I used a watered down gesso so that it's not like kind of in your face white. It's just little specks of it. And then I'm coming in with my Tombow in black. Let me see if I can grab it really quick so I can tell you which one it is. It is N25, and just hand lettering this part that says, "What is man?" And that's going to be it for my page. I'm adding a little bit of white accent highlight on the lettering, and that really is going to be pretty much it for me. I am going to come back in and add just a little bit more texture in the background. So I'll come back in with those same Distress Oxide colors and a little bit and that same texture tile 13. And just because I really liked how it was looking in the background and I just wanted a little bit more of it, so I'm going to kind of add just a little bit more here. I'm going in with the antique linen. I liked how the antique linen looked over the scattered straw and the mustard seed, and because it's you're stamping it, the color is just a little bit more intense. And so I did kind of go, I added faded jeans to the blue area, obviously, and that kind of stuff. So just to give a little bit more interest in the background, I think you can maybe start to see it a little bit better now. It just gives, like I said, a little bit more visual texture in the background, but just a really simple page for me. But it was just, like I said, it was really important to me to document this because I was just so grateful that the Lord saw fit to answer a prayer kind of right when I needed him to. And so I do end up writing a little prayer over on the left side off camera, and that's it for me. So if you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and until next time, bye.